If you or someone you know is a victim of human trafficking, call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. As usual, it's me, Ricky Kabruggi, and joining me again tonight is Derek, our producer. How you doing tonight, Derek?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. Ready for another show.
Another show, buddy. It's what we're here to do, man.
Yep.
We're here to do. We had an action-packed show last. We had I don't know how many flyers we put up. Maybe
man, those
all together. Maybe like 15 or 16. I don't know. Yeah. Tonight we have a pretty good show too. Well, I'd never say a good show, but we have we have quite a few cases to show you guys tonight. Couple of cold cases. Well, we'll talk about it later. We have a couple of unsolved homicides we're going to discuss. Ricky, how was the state of Kansas this week? Well, I guess this is the thing too. This is a short week. We were here Thursday, so between Thursday and Tuesday, which isn't long. What has the state of Kansas been like? We got a lot of runners right now, or?
Actually, since the last show, I haven't done as many as I did before the last show. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's probably still the same amount. I just haven't been contacted nearly as frequently the last few days.
Yeah.
But I've had my flyers I've made and updated. So, and even my 14-year-old daughter is helping me with updates.
Yeah, you were telling me that she's it's a family business now. She's figuring out how to do the editing and
Yep.
And she's hoping to learn how to do the actual flyers themselves.
Yep. Yep. She says she wants to at some point jump in and help out and eventually take over probably.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Take over when Dad's not able to do it anymore, or something should happen to Dad. Keep it going for me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think that's awesome. I think it's a lot. I have kids. I think a lot of our listeners have kids. I'm into broadcasting and music, and I'd love for my kids to be into those two things. But the chances of your kids being into like what you're passionate about,
right,
is really not a guaranteed thing at all. It's like a lot of times your kids are completely different than you. So it's cool that one of your daughters is like, hey, I like this. Teach me how to do this.
Right. I'm glad she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad she is. My older daughter doesn't seem to be. I mean, it's interesting. She doesn't seem to be too interested in doing it, but she told me the other day that she talks about me and talks about Kansas Missing and Unsolved a lot at school. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Yep.
She tells all of her friends, you better stay home or my dad's going to find you.
Right. Yeah, and everybody out there watching this stuff, feel free to chime in and comment and suggest cases and ask questions if you want, whatever you want to do.
Share the show if you can. We're gonna show a bunch of flyers tonight, so we'd really like to have some people in here to help us do that.
We're simulcasting on Facebook and Twitter, correct?
We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter through their Periscope app, and we are on YouTube right now.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool.
So those are the three places we're broadcasting to.
All right.
Let me see. It looks like we're pulling all of our viewers from Facebook. We have to pump up we got to get the word out on the Periscope, which is basically when we go live on Periscope, it automatically tweets on Ricky's Kansas Missing and Unsolved Twitter page. Which you got Dusty Grant following you before the show. That's pretty big news.
Cool. Yeah.
So if you are a user of Twitter and YouTube, this same channel is on both platforms, and you can check it out there. And the video is archived there as well. And then also, and we're a little behind on this, and it's all my fault. I'm trying to, this show's gone through a lot of changes in the last few months. We've had a lot of guest hosts, a lot of stuff. So the podcast has not been updated in a while, but I am going to work out on that this tomorrow. I'm off work, so I'm going to work on KMU's podcast tomorrow. But you can go to any podcast platform for the most part and look for Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast, and you can find the show. And it'll have by this week's end, it'll have all 35 episodes on there. and
Right.
you can check those out. So when we encourage people to go check out that podcast. Actually, it's one of our better. Whenever I do post them, Ricky, it's one of our better performing shows. People just automatically download it. It's awesome.
Cool. That's good to hear. We're reaching the masses. That's good.
Yeah, it's good, man. This is one of those pages. It's really important, and it's a good message and stuff. So I really dig that, man.
Yeah, as the more eyes are on the flyers and the cases and stuff, the better chances of getting them found and brought home.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's cover some cases, man. Let's. I want you to tell me a little bit about Aaliyah, and I feel like we've covered her recently. Tell me I'm wrong, or
we may have. I don't exactly recall. I know I just recently reshared her flyer because I had somebody ask me to, so I did. But let's see here. Where is her flyer? There it is. She's missing from Topeka, Kansas. She's been missing since October 21st of this year, so a little over 2 months. No, not quite 2 months. She's 17 years old. She's 5'4", 130 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Aaliyah's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551 or 785-368-9200 or KBI at 785-296-4017. Aaliyah, if you happen to see this, reach out and let somebody know where that you're okay, and say, hey, come get me so I can get back to a safe place. I know it's been a little bit unseasonably warm, but it's still getting cold at night, and being out on the streets isn't anywhere to be. So let somebody know where you are.
Especially without a plan. That's one of my biggest fears in the world is being, I live in the sixth biggest city in America. And the thought of being outside of my house without a plan scares me. It's like, and the thing is, Aaliyah, you're 17, you're almost there. As soon as you're 18, you can, it's your rules and everything right now, there's better ways to handle things. We understand that, at 17, you kind of feel like you kind of got it going, you figure, how you like doing things, and you feel like you're basically an adult, you're, I don't know how few months or so shy of being an adult. You're almost there, but at the same time, even an adult wouldn't just leave without telling somebody where they were, because that, when you have empathy, it's like, okay, at least, I have friends and family, people that care about me. They at least need to know where I'm at least a heads up that maybe, and my message might say, hey, guess what? I'm checking out for a while. I don't want to deal with anything anymore. I'll talk to you guys in a week, however long you need. But the missing factor in what you're doing is the communication. You need to communicate with somebody. Hey, this is what I'm doing, and this is how I'm doing it, and I'm safe. And that's not even say it's 6 months from now and you're 18. You should still probably let your friends and family know where you are, just for safety reasons. Just in case something happens, people need to know where you are, and people need to know you're safe. So yeah, if anybody watching tonight knows Aaliyah Blazik, tell her to message somebody, let somebody know that she is alive and well, and we can start from there. Just first of all, just let us know you're still okay.
Yeah, definitely reach out. And then, if you need some help or advice, there's always the 1-800-RUNAWAY number you can call, or go to their website, 1-800-RUNAWAY.org, and say, help, I need some help, I need some direction, and they'll get you going.
I'm gonna, and I'm not saying that this any of her pictures have filters on them. I mean, they don't look like it to me. But one of the things that scares me about these filters is that I actually I've talked about it on my other show, but like if some of these people that only post pictures of themselves with the filters on, and that's the only pictures that we have of a human being for the last 4 years is a filter.
Right.
If you go missing, you're actually making it really hard to find you.
Right.
When like I said, if you end up on if your face ends up on Ricky's desk, people are worried about you. Mm-hmm. And if there's only photos of you with a computer enhancement on it, people are going to be looking for a person that doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So I just like to reiterate, put I like the second photo, the second flyer from the left here. It looks like it's, maybe something like she was just, hey, take a picture. The other ones look like she was more trying to take a nice picture, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I like the profile picture. You can kind of see what she looks like when she's just out and about, not dolled up or anything. She's just going out for a day. And that's who you're probably looking for right now. Everybody.
Right. And to your point about the filters, I'm starting to see that more and more and more. And it's just, I'm not a big fan of that because, like you're saying, it makes it harder to recognize them, and because I mean, they can distort their face, smooth out any blemishes.
And and it also has a potential for danger because it can make a 16-year-old kid look older.
True.
And then so they have an online profile. People are talking to them, and it may people are thinking that they're talking to like a grown up, and not like like I said, not like they're not a grown up or anything, but it's like the filters are very dangerous. I mean, I think they're fun. I think it's fun to have dog ears, and I think it's fun to stick your tongue out and have the dog tongue come out and lick the screen. All the stuff that filters do, those are great. And I think it's cool that you can put a filter on, and it's basically like the same thing as putting makeup on, guys or girls. You can kind of dress yourself up and be different. That's awesome. That's beautiful. Don't stop doing that. But please, every once in a while, take a picture of what you actually look like and put it on social media just for safety. Just for safety.
That's good advice. I like that. Definitely do that. Yeah, because it's like I said, sometimes it gets
And if you don't want
difficult.
And if you don't want to post it online, you just save them on your phone, email them to people. Just take pictures of what you really look like and send them to people. So people like Ricky have stuff like that in case anything, God forbid, happens.
Right. And then the other thing you run into is like some of these girls and even some of the guys, they like to put highlights in their hair or color their hair. One day it might be blue, 3 days later it might be red, 3 days later it might be bright yellow. So I mean that makes it hard too.
Yeah. So Leah Blazek, Topeka, Kansas area. If anybody has seen from her, heard from her, know where she's at, contact Ricky. Go ahead and ring off those numbers one more time. After you pick up your pen, Ricky's, we're having a mess backstage, folks. Don't worry about it.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be a night. Actually, I knocked a can of chips off my desk. Okay, the Topeka, Kansas Police Department number. The best one to call would be the 785-368-9200, and they can get you where you need to be. The direct number to the desk you need to go to 785-368-9247, and then of course there's KBI 785-296-4017.
All right, we're going to go ahead.
So that'll get you where you need to go.
Yeah, call any of those numbers. And again, if you don't remember all the numbers, just call the KBI. You can. That's easy. If you can't find, like Topeka's police line, if you can't find that on Google, if you're having trouble, there's too many numbers. Just literally Google Kansas Bureau of Investigation KBI, and you'll find the number there. Sure. And so tell us a little bit about. We're going to go to Salina tonight. Your home spot, Ricky. Tell us about Alex Bruce. This. We're on the anniversary of the day.
Yeah. I was asked actually to share his flyer again by his uncle, who I believe we've had on the show before, as a matter of fact, too.
Okay.
Alex went missing December 8th, 2017, so 3 years ago. He was 25 when he went missing. He's now 28. 6'2", 175, black hair, brown eyes. The last contact he had with his family was at 4 a.m. on December 8th. He's wheelchair bound, and his left leg is amputated above the knee. And the last update that I gave was that the vehicle that he was last known to be in was actually located abandoned kind of northeast of town a little ways. And his wheelchair and everything was found inside of the vehicle. Again, he's 25 when he went missing. He's now be 28, 6'2", 175 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He has a tattoo on the left side of his neck that says pain, which you can kind of make out a little bit on a couple of those pictures there. If you have any information regarding Alex's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, you can call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210, or you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously at 785-825-8477, or text SA TIPS to crime, which is 274637. Or visit www.pd.salina.org or follow Crime Stoppers link. Just submit a web tip, which I don't have the link on the flyer, but I mean, you can Google Salina, Kansas Crime Stoppers and it'll get you there. You may receive a cash reward of up to $1,000 and you're not required to give your name, or you can call the KBI at 785-296-4017 as well. And like I said, it's been 3 years, and I know he's got family that's wanting to know, where he's at, what happened to him. So let's get this shared and let's get it across the right people's site so they can say, hey, yeah, I heard somebody talking and they say they did this, and hopefully find him.
Is this one of the guys that is involved in all those people that are missing that knew each other on Facebook situation?
He was one of the ones the lady was looking at, as along with a bunch of other cases where she was comparing Facebook profiles and finding similar or the same friends on each of their accounts, and wondering if there wasn't a connection in that way somehow. But yeah, he was one of them because he's got connections to, I believe it's the Great Bend, Barton County area. I believe it is.
There's something going on with that whole situation. I mean, you have a handful of missing people,
Yeah.
and there's mutual friends, and these people aren't in the same town or anything. It'd be one thing if they were all in the same town,
Mm-hmm.
but these people are in different towns and stuff, and I don't know. That's something we should definitely dig into a little bit sometime. But yeah, Alex the Rust. If anybody's heard anything at a party, message board, anywhere, you've seen something fishy, you've seen somebody bragging about something, you've seen somebody saying they know something,
Right.
tell somebody. What is the point of not telling somebody?
I'm a firm believer that, somebody knows something, no matter how small of a detail you might think it is, still call it in, because it could be something that may, point the investigators either in a different direction they didn't think to go, or further down the same direction they were already going, so no matter how small of a piece of information you think it is, it could be huge for investigators. So call it in.
Yeah.
All right.
What up, Lisa Johnson Strong?
Hey, Lisa, how you doing? Thank you
for
for being here tonight. Yeah.
Tell us about Dominic Deese.
All right. Dominic Deese was one that I actually did this morning. He's been missing since December 7th, yesterday. 16 years old. He's 5'6" to 5'7" tall. He weighs between 145 to 150 pounds. He has brown hair with red in the front and brown eyes. He could possibly be in a green slate Chrysler 300 with Kansas license plate 928 LJT, or a green 1998 Crown Victoria with Kansas license plate 773 MZM, with another juvenile headed south from Manhattan. I've been trying to work on seeing if I could get information on the other juvenile to get another flyer made for that person, but I haven't had any luck with that yet. Again, Dominic is 16 years old. He's 5'6" to 5'7" tall and weighs between 145 and 150 pounds. Again, he's got brown hair with red in the front of it and brown eyes. He does wear glasses. He was last known to be wearing a black jacket, a white t-shirt, khaki pants, and gray Adidas shoes. If you have any information regarding Dominic's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Riley County, Kansas Police Department at 785-537-2112. or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And Dominic, if you're out there listening, you and whatever friend you're with or whatever, get back home. Running's not the answer. And I'm sure you're probably dealing with things and possibly overwhelmed, but I'm sure it's nothing that can't be handled by sitting down and talking it out.
Yeah. That's and so this was yesterday. Now, does this have like does this have like a case number and everything? Like, is this, because I remember at one point in time in this country, if you said, "Hey, Dominic Deese hasn't been seen since yesterday," and it was today at 8:48 p.m., they'd be like, give it a little while. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would just be like, he'll show up. Is there anything that would was it just a family member asked us to make this flyer, or was this like the police asked us? Because I'm just curious. Like, I try to judge the severity of the situation.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember who I was asked by, but it is legitimately filed with the police department. Because honestly, I don't post flyers until I know there's a missing persons report on file, because I kind of got burned on that once. I did a flyer for somebody was missing out of McPherson, Kansas, and they reassured me a report was filed and everything, and I made the flyer, I posted it. A little while later, that same day, I get a message from McPherson Police Department saying, "Hey, who told you this person was missing? We don't have this person in our system is missing." And I said, "Well, family member got a hold of me and said they were," and said, "No, we don't have anything on file for them, so have that family member get a hold of us so we can get a report filed." And I said, "Okay, we'll do." And so ever since that one time, and that's been not long after I started doing this page, that happened, and I learned from that real quick. So it's like, okay, dot my T's, cross my I's. Cross my T's, dot my I's. because I didn't want to get burned like that again. So
Yeah, well, because he's been basically missing maybe 24 hours ish,
yeah,
and so the fact that there is a missing person report to me seems a little alarming. Like if like a 16-year-old kid, if they just took off, they were mad and they ran out of the house,
right.
I would usually think that it would be a couple of days before the police got involved, and there was a little worry to that. To
Yeah.
me, this it seems like it's barely been 24 hours and he's on your desk. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel
Yeah.
like this might be a situation where, I think you got a lot of people really worried, Dominic, because this is a quick turnaround here.
Yeah, and I don't remember if I mentioned it when I was going through the flyer, but they were last seen headed south out of Manhattan. So I'm not sure where they were heading to, but they were headed south.
Well, hopefully it's just like a party or something, nothing crazy,
Yeah.
And hopefully they stay safe. I mean, that's just, it's barely been 24 hours. You got a lot of people really worried sick. So this obviously doesn't sound very much like your character to just not answer your phone and not let people know where you are. So I think Manhattan, Kansas, south of Manhattan, Kansas, and really anywhere in Kansas, if you see this guy, call somebody. A lot of people worried sick.
Yeah, definitely. Let them know you're okay, Dominic.
Hello, Angel. Angel.
Hey, Angel, how you doing? Angel Brat? Okay.
All right, we got. Hold on, I messed that up. Now we have Eve Bowers.
Mm-hmm. And she is missing out of Kansas City, Missouri. She's been missing since November 24th of 2020. She is 16 years old. She's 5'2". She weighs 135 pounds. She has brown curly hair and brown eyes. She was last seen in the area of 45th South Benton Avenue in Kansas City. She may be in the Kansas City, Lexington, or Higginsville, Missouri areas. If you have any information regarding Eve's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department at 816-459-4358 or 816-234-5136 or 816-234-5111.
So she's been out a couple weeks.
Yeah. So Eve, get on the horn, let somebody know you're okay and where you're at and where they can come pick you up at and get you back to a safe place.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's almost Christmas. What do you?
Yeah. I know, right?
Not the greatest time to.
Nope, not at all. Not even ready for Christmas yet.
Yeah, with this pandemic, man, this whole year has just been a blur.
I know.
We're doing good, Angel.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Just trying to spread the word. Tell us about Guadalupe, Ricky.
Okay, let's see here. Guadalupe. I got a locator flyer here. Okay, she's missing from Topeka, Kansas. Been missing since November 18th of 2020. She is 17 years old. She's 5'3", 220 pounds, brown hair and dark brown eyes. It is believed she may still be in the local Topeka area. If you have any information regarding Guadalupe's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9200. Or you can call KBI at 785-296-4017. Yeah, and Guadalupe again, just like the others, let somebody know where you are and that you're safe, so they can, come and get you back to where you need to be.
Yeah. Another Topeka, Kansas one.
Yeah. I don't know what is there lately about Topeka and Kansas City, and Wichita. Those seems to be like the three biggest hotspots.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you have a city, there's just like, and this is another thing I was thinking about. Every time we get on here and we encourage, people like Guadalupe to reach out to friends of theirs and let them know where they are. But you got to really be honest with ourselves here. I'm guessing if Guadalupe's safe and she's missing on her own accord,
Right.
I'm assuming most of the people that she cares about, the people that she would ride or die for, know where she's at, and they're respecting her decision to not want to be found. You have there's a lot of stuff like that working against the people trying to find her and stuff. Like that's. But but put it this way: if somebody out there is communicating with Guadalupe, and you are cooperating with her and not saying where she is, that doesn't mean you can't report that she's alive.
Right.
You don't have to say where she's at. You can just say that she's alive. That's a step in the right direction.
Yep, definitely. Yep.
Okay, tell us about Jake. We're going to go to Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm going to Baton Rouge. Like the old Garth Brooks song says.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah. Yeah, Jake Allen I hope I say this right. Ladioles, I believe it is. Been missing since August 29th of 2014. He was 22 when he went missing. He would now be 28. He is 5'8" to 5'10" tall, and he weighs between 130 to 150 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. Jake had a broken foot and right hand at the time of his disappearance. His foot was in an orthopedic boot, and he was using crutches. He was last seen on the Interstate 10 bridge over the Mississippi River in Baton Rouge on August 29, 2014. He was sitting along the bridge rail next to his pickup truck. Someone spoke to him at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he said he was en route to West Baton Rouge, but he never arrived there. During the early morning hours, police got an anonymous call saying someone had jumped from the bridge 175 feet to the river below. They searched the river, but couldn't find his body. They only found Jake's truck still running. His cell phone and cigarettes were there, as was a trolling motor he had just bought. But his wallet and crutches were missing, and he's never been heard from again. When Jake's mother checked out when Jake's mother checked out his apartment after she had found out what happened, she found indications of a struggle. There were holes punched in the walls, and a window was punched out. Many of Jake's belongings, including his TV set and guns, were missing. His crutches were never recovered. Jake's mother believes her son met with foul play, and someone tried to stage it to look like a suicide. Again, at the time of his disappearance, Jake was 22 years old. He would now be 28, and he's 5'8" to 5'10" tall and weighs between 130 and 150 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. He may have a short mustache and beard. He has a cross-shaped scar on his left wrist. If you have any information regarding Jake's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Baton Rouge, Louisiana Police Department at 225-389-4617 or 225-239-7832. And he also, just to let everybody know, he left a very young baby girl behind when he went missing.
Oh my gosh.
So, hopefully we can get him found and located, and hopefully he's still okay.
That is all shades of sketchy, Ricky.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Well, when you first told the story and you tell me that he's sitting on a bridge, he's obviously, and I'm curious to know what happened to the hand and the foot. Why is he injured?
Yeah, I know that I never heard about. Never seen anything.
Especially since you find out his apartment was disheveled and things were broken and stolen.
Right.
Maybe it was, maybe it sounds like if somebody did do something to Jake, maybe it sounds like the night they broke it, they messed up his apartment wasn't the first night they visited him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm wondering where those injuries came from.
Right.
And yeah, that just has, it's like as soon as you're like, yeah, he was sitting on a bridge and he was, and it was the Mississippi River. I was like, okay, suicide. This is where we're going with this. He jumped off and we're just trying to help locate the body. But when you add in that there's some weird stuff going on at the apartment, like that's all shades of sketch right there to me.
Yeah. I mean, unless for some reason he got all upset about something and started taking it out.
But that doesn't explain the missing belongings.
No, the TV and the guns and yeah.
No, unless somebody saw a guy throwing a bunch of stuff like that off a bridge, I don't see where, or unless any of his friends said, hey, Jake stopped by last night and he was acting weird and he gave me a TV and a bunch of guns, that would make sense of a suicide. Right. But just everything's missing, his truck's running and his house is messed up. I mean, I don't know. I would, if it's being ruled, is it being ruled like an accidental death, or is it being ruled a homicide? Or
I'm not 100% sure on that. I think they might have been looking at it as a suicide initially, but I mean, I'm not sure with considering the condition of his apartment and everything. It's hard to say.
That's crazy. Well, Hopefully Jake's family can find some closure in this. Hopefully somebody knows something, and hopefully somebody starts talking.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping they're looking into his background, see if there was, anybody he may have been having trouble with, or, may have threatened him, or, could it have been just like a random burglary or what that went wrong? I mean, it's hard to say.
Sketchy. I mean, and then there's a chance maybe he came home, realized he was robbed, and then that was what sent him over the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, but yeah, I wouldn't just say, well, suicide, close the book. I wouldn't say that at all.
Yeah.
But regardless, even if it was, his family would still like to have closure,
Yeah, and then there's the matter of the anonymous call that the caller never revealed who they were. I mean, could it have been?
And why wouldn't you do, like, if I saw somebody jump, why would I hide? I've called the police several times in my life, and when they always ask you, who is this? I'll tell them, like, what do I got to hide? It's like,
yeah, there was a video I watched about his case on YouTube, again with YouTube, but it was Danielle Howell, and it was on her channel, and she brought up some interesting scenarios on the anonymous call. I mean, she brought up, it could have been the person that staged it, maybe, that made the call, or maybe it might have been even Jake himself. I mean, just don't know.
Yeah. Very sketchy, my friend. Very sketchy. Hopefully they get some closure out of that case.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how I got turned on to that one. I mean, I think somebody tagged me on their Facebook, on the Jake's Facebook page, on his missing persons case, I believe is what it was. And it was on Twitter, I believe, actually.
Oh, okay.
And the mom was reaching out and asking for help on the case because she didn't feel like it's getting enough coverage, and I was one of the ones that was tagged on it. So I stepped in and made a flyer and got it to her, and told her she's more than welcome to use it.
Awesome.
So hopefully it helps. And I told her that, and I told her I hope it helps.
Yeah. A couple more cases for y'all tonight. Thanks for tuning in to Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. We will be back next Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a break.
Yep. And I'm actually on vacation from work next week, so.
You just had a vacation. Oh, yeah, it's the holidays, though.
Yeah, but I had 5 more days of vacation time I had to burn before the end of the year because I can't start using next year's vacation until these are all used up. So
yeah,
I had to take it, which is fine.
Well, you get some flyers done.
Oh, yeah. That'll give me some time to do that.
Tell us about Justin, sorry.
All right, Justin Michael Scott. He's a young man that's missing from Wichita, Kansas. Been missing since December 5th of this year. Excuse me, he's 13 years old. He is 5'7" tall, weighs 170 pounds. He has blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Justin's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456, or you can call KBI at 785-296-4017. And Justin, if you're out there, man, let people know where you are so they can come and get you and get you back to a safe spot.
Yeah.
I mean, being 13 and this time of year in Wichita, I mean, that's not good.
Nah.
And I believe as far as the pictures go, you see the left side, his hair is pretty short, and the other side, it's grown out. I believe the right side might be the more recent of the two, because I was sent first. I found the other one on KBI's website.
Okay. So. Yeah, 13 is pretty young, even for this show.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's been missing now for 3 days. So.
Well, hopefully we get something. Somebody sees something on this show tonight, and or somebody sees one of the flyers of the thankfully hundreds of people that share these flyers every day.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully somebody sees something and says something, because 13 years old, yeah, we need to find it. We need to know where you are, Justin.
Yes, we do. I'm going to get you back to a safe place.
Okay, we're going to talk about some unsolved homicides now. Ricky, tell us a little bit about Derek Cortez Patterson.
This was one that I was just not long before the show, was asked if I could share again because today would actually have been his 41st birthday. Derek Cortez Patterson, also known as Bo, was found shot to death and left naked in the back seat of his car on 17th Haskell in Kansas City, Kansas, on January 10th. I'm not sure which year exactly. No one has been arrested, charged, convicted, or suffered the consequence of their actions. It's believed that he was brutally murdered by someone that he knew personally. It's also believed that there are a few people, both male and female, that were involved directly and indirectly. It's believed that his murder was premeditated and that people close to him may have assisted in his kidnapping. Derek was the father of 2 young sons and 1 young daughter and was working as a respected barber at Joey's Cuts Barbershop on 39th, Indiana, in Kansas City, Missouri. If you have any information regarding Derek's murder, please call the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department at 816-234-5100, or you can call Detective Jenkins, Detective Slater, or Captain Hallmark at the KCK Police Department at 913-573-6030. Or if you want to remain anonymous, you can call the Kansas City Crime Stoppers tips line at 816-474-8477.
You got to wonder how much manpower gets put on this case every week. Probably not any. I mean, that's not a slight towards the cops either. There's just so much work to do.
It is.
It's like, and really, I don't think people realize the reason that the police not only welcome Ricky making flyers like this, but they encourage him to do so, is because really, folks, these cases, these missing teens, these unsolved homicides, these missing adults, it's really on us to solve these. It's the police work on tips. The police don't just walk out and start looking behind buildings. I mean, I'm sure in some cases they do, but I'm saying, like, when you have something like this, the police, they can't just pull a scenario out of thin air and say, this is what happened. They have to have people telling them, this is what I know, this is what I heard, this is what I saw.
Yeah.
So it really is important that we're sharing flyers like this, that we're talking about stuff like this, and we keep this stuff in the air because, watch a cold case show. It's really easy for 30 years to go by and somebody's death to be done and with no repercussions whatsoever. Somebody just literally got away with murder. And that's a story. It's a story here for Derek Cortez Patterson. Somebody willingly chose to take his life, and they have not had to suffer any consequences for that choice. And Derek Cortez Patterson should turn 41 years old today with his friends and family, but he can't because somebody took his life. So it's important that we share this, and it's important, if you know something, to say something. Go ahead, Ricky.
I'm saying, not only that, they took him away from his kids too.
Yeah.
I mean, he had, what did I say, 2 sons and a daughter. So, I mean, they now are growing up without their dad.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm a firm believer. If somebody out there knows something, it's time to speak up and do the right thing. Let's get some closure for the family going on, so they can grieve and grieve properly, and
let's make America safer. Let's get a murderer off the streets.
Yeah.
I mean, America, are you safe with that? Kansas, are you good with that? Knowing that this guy right here was murdered by somebody, and that person is out shopping next to you and pumping their gas next to you and eating at restaurants next to you, and Derek's not. So those are some real big motivators for, if you know something, say something, and do it anonymously if you're worried about it. But I mean, look, somebody called in saying that somebody jumped off a bridge. I mean, we think that could have even been somebody tied to that case, but at least they called. It's like, call the police, call somebody, do it anonymously. But somebody, and I'm not even saying I think somebody knows. I know people know who killed this man. I know that.
Right.
I know people know that. So the next step is getting that information to law enforcement.
Yep. Definitely.
All right, we're going to shoot to my hometown for a little bit. We've covered this case before. This is Suzanne Johnson, unsolved homicide. Suzanne went missing on the evening of March 4th, 1971. Her partially disrobed body was discovered in tall grass in a field northwest of Elkhart on March 19th, 1971. Based on the contents of her stomach, it is known that she died the day she vanished, yet her body had hardly deteriorated several days later when she was found. Police were able to find blood under her fingernails and evidence of sexual assault. This case remains a mystery. If you have any information that could lead to an arrest, please contact the KBI at 785-296-4017. So some of this information is from old newspapers. Some of it is from Suzanne's actual mother that I've interviewed. And there is audio of that. If you look up the Elkhart tapes on any podcast platform, it's the most recent interview that I have. There was, and then this is something that kind of gives me a little bit of like, unless it was completely fouled up, if they still have anything, any type of trace evidence of the matter that was underneath her fingernails, anything that was done from the sexual assault, if they have any type of DNA, this is a pretty open and shut case. Now, the trick is getting the state of Kansas to do some and if they even have, there's a chance it was lost. This was a very sloppy case. It was a small town. They didn't know what they were doing. It was the first, this doesn't happen in this town. So basically, we're sharing this flyer again. We want to let everybody know that we wanted to put the part out there that the important parts of this flyer is that she vanished on March 4th, 1971. She was found dead on March 19th, 1971. But they know she died on March 4th, 1971 because of the contents of her stomach. That's a very important part of the flyer you need to remember. And also that she had not deteriorated. And this isn't on the flyer, but this is straight from her mother. She was also, in fact, frozen. So somebody had kept her in a cold climate to the point where she was frozen and she did not deteriorate. So this is Suzanne Johnson. She was abducted, murdered, raped, murdered, and then laid in a field several days later. The murder remains unsolved. If anybody has any ideas about this or they heard anything, they know anything, please call the KBI at 785-296-4017. You're muted, Ricky.
I forgot I muted myself. I was talking to my daughter for a second. But yeah, that would be one I'd like to see get solved.
Yeah. And then just real quick, we wanted to touch up on this. Last week, I had mentioned this flyer, and some people had reached out to me personally. And the flyer reads, on December 7th, 1983, Carson and Donna and their unborn child were beaten and shot to death. The case has long believed to have been drug-related, but that has since been questioned. Donna was a 17-year-old housewife and Carson a 25-year-old farmhand, and they were being used to trace drug sales in southwest Kansas. That's something that I actually heard from a newspaper. That's not something that we heard just from – that wasn't some rumor that we heard or anything. That was something that was from a newspaper. The flyer also says they had been placed in that spot by brother-in-law Mike Walker, who was an ex-con turned KBI informant. Again, Mr. Walker, if you're out there watching this, that was printed in the paper. That was not something that we just grabbed out of thin air. And you will only see stuff that is credible coming from us as best as we can. And then Mike Walker also collected the $125,000 on a life insurance policy for Carson. I just want to say that all that stuff that was on the flyer, to the people that reached out to me and wanted to know where I got my information, it seemed like they didn't believe it. It's from newspapers. I plan on sharing the photos of those newspaper clippings on the page if you want to get away with murder soon. So that's where we got the information. So we just want to let everybody know that we do try to have some integrity here on this show, and we do try to only, put on the flyers that stuff that the police know about, and that, we would never want to jeopardize any investigation.
Right. Definitely. In the case of unsolved homicides, we try to do, like you say, we try to do the best we can to make sure we're not putting anything out there that's going to screw anything up for the detectives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is on a lot of these cases, and again, Ricky only puts on the flyers, one, what's told from him from either a family member or from a police officer, very pretty much that's how the information gets on the flyer. Mm-hmm. But, a lot of times, a lot of these flyers that we share, the police know way more that's on that flyer. And a lot of times Ricky and I know way more that's on that flyer. But, you can't do things. You can't just go out and just say things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have some kind of order. I'm sorry. My neighbor's dog's upset, Ricky. But you know, so like a lot of times what you're seeing on the flyers, you know, they're purposely only putting out a certain amount of information because I think that they kind of they need to know that the person who actually did this knows something that they only they know. So if they find out that somebody is saying something that they know to be true, but they have not put that out into the public, they're like, okay, this person might have been there because that's actually what happened. So, you know, we only want to share stuff that's either been shared by a family member, a police officer, or something that was written in the press.
Right. Definitely. Like my uncle always used to say, loose lips sink ships.
Yeah.
You know, so we don't want to be that loose lip that sinks a ship. So.
No, we're just trying to really just shine a light on certain areas that are tragically not great areas to shine lights on. Some sad stories and stuff, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, these flyers they make family members uncomfortable because they have to be, you know, face to face with something they've been trying to forget. But more importantly, I hope it makes guilty people feel uncomfortable. You know, it's like, and this is the reason that we're doing this. You know, like. Yeah. If you know something, say something, and we really appreciate everybody hanging out with us every week and helping us, you know, do this.
Yeah, I'm sure the guilty people, if they do see this, are probably like, "Oh crap, you know, I thought this was going away." But they're still bringing it up.
Yeah, it's not going to go away. And if it's not me and Ricky doing it, is there somebody else? You know, like,
oh yeah.
The thing is just you're not going to get a lot of people that are okay with, you know, somebody ending somebody's life or kidnapping somebody, something like anything like that. It's never gonna be okay. There's never gonna be a day where everybody's like, "Oh, no big deal anymore." Like people don't talk about it, but people know, and we know when we share these flyers that it gets people talking again, and people know. You know, people are like remember and stuff, and I think that's good. I think it's good to stoke the fire every once in a while. So yeah, that's what we've been doing, trying to bring up these unsolved homicides. You know, just trying to stoke the fire a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Hopefully, it helps.
Yeah.
You know, because again, you know, somebody knows something. It's time to just, you know, bite the bullet, speak up, you know, tell what you know. You can do it anonymously if you want to. You know, just do it. It's time. You know, it's been way too long.
Good evening, Michelle Daniels Wittenberg.
Good evening, Michelle. How you doing? Thanks for coming and joining us tonight.
Well, Ricky, anything new happening in the missing and unsolved world? I know you pay attention to a lot of other pages throughout the country, and has there been anything in the missing and unsolved world nationally that's been headline worthy?
There was one actually that we covered 2 or 3 shows ago, and let me dig up her name real quick here. Goodness, too much stuff on my screen here. Let me do this. This is the young lady that was missing from back east. And I got to find her flyer. She was the one that... oh, where did it go? I know it's in here somewhere. No, it's not you. Where is she? Maybe she's further down. Let me look here.
Yeah, I'm looking through my folders too. You know a first name?
Here she is. It's Jalasia Finkley. I saw the other day where they found what they believe is her body down in Florida.
Really?
Oh, and here's okay. Body found in Florida, ID'd as Jalasia Finkley.
Oh, that's that's covered. I have her on the screen here.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So that's the one. She gets in a car with some guy, and her phone is thrown out of the car, and I don't know how he's not in jail already.
Well, because remember he got in the shootout with the cops in Florida.
Oh, they killed him. Yeah. So this
because he went all the way down to the East Coast into Florida, and then he went over to Texas and back to Florida, and then we got back to Florida. Police tried to arrest him, and he shot at least one shot at him, and then they returned fire and shot and killed him.
So we have to update this from the located deceased.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that here in a little bit. I was holding off because initially when I saw it, they were talking about that they believed it was her body, but they hadn't ID'd it yet. But I just am seeing now, and did a real quick Google, that positively identified as her. So yeah, I will update that. Located deceased. Yes, apparently he must have did what he did and then dumped her in Florida.
Did they say how she knew this guy or how she met him? Or?
Well, initially he was in a relationship with her aunt. So
oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he was always obsessed with her and stuff.
Apparently, from what I've seen, apparently.
You know, Vicky, it's like
and she was 5 months. She was pregnant when she went missing. Whether the baby was his or not, I don't know.
You know, it's like I don't know, Ricky. Like I sit here and watch cold case files and forensic files and all these stories, and they all have the same, like, it's like he was a grown man and he was in love with a 15-year-old, and everybody would just let it happen until he killed her 5 years later. I mean, a red flag is a red flag. If you have a grown man that is telling people out loud that he is in love with a child, look what happened. Like nothing, nothing happened, and she's dead, and a baby's dead.
Right, and check out what I'm reading an article here, and apparently it said he snapped, and apparently he typed in his cell phone that she's gone, and then he typed into his cell phone about what happened on October 20th. He also wrote about his depression. Then he gave detailed directions on to where to find her body.
And they found that on his phone?
Yeah. And the information led investigators to a field off Route 95 in Fellsmere, Florida last week. So, and St. Lucie Medical Examiner's Office in Florida confirmed that it is her. So, that's sad. That is freaking sad.
Anytime we have grown men saying they're in love with teenagers, let's do something, folks. Like that was a red flag from the red flag factory. You have a grown man who's dating this girl's aunt, and then he starts saying that he has feelings for a child. I mean, he should have been removed from the situation immediately at that point. And now, like, you know, this girl is gone. She will never be back. She got into a car and met her fate because, in my opinion, she was allowed to be around somebody who was showing signs of being a monster.
Yeah. And I never understood why adult males and even adult females become romantically interested in teenagers.
It's a recipe for, it's just not like, it's, to me, it's just like I know there's a lot of sad people and stuff, but to me, I just feel like really let down by the adults in Jalazia's life who allowed her to be around somebody that was such a predator. Just like I was watching this case where this guy, he's an Egyptian guy. He married a girl here. She was 15. He was like 30, had 2 daughters with her. And then the daughter said that he molested them when they were 10. And then they recanted their story because everybody in the family was like, no, that they just made it up, which is just real fishy. But he ended up trying to marry his daughters off to the highest bidders in Egypt, and they pulled back. And so he shot them in his taxi and killed them.
I think I remembered something about that. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
But I mean, like, the guy is sitting there. The girls are texting their friends. The wife is telling everybody, like, oh, yeah, we're pretty sure he's going to kill my daughters for years, Ricky. They're like talking about how, like, yeah, we're worried he's going to kill our daughters for years. And what happens? He kills his daughters. Like, I just feel like a lot of this stuff is, like, so avoidable. Like, don't be afraid to call out a red flag for what it is. Like, this grown man that's trying to be in Jalazia's life when she's a child and trying to say has romantic feelings for her. That's not okay.
Yeah. Did they say on that Egyptian guy, did they ever arrest him, or are they still trying?
No, he's still missing. He's like on the top 10.
I think he might have fled back to his home country or something, probably.
What a dirtbag. I watched that documentary and, like, just what a dirtbag, man.
Yeah. And I do have one I got to update the located safe that I had forgot about until I was just looking at a message a little bit ago. It was one we covered last week, maybe. Isis Mallory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was located safe.
Awesome.
So
Michelle says that Wyatt is in Wichita.
So has he been located, or is he still
on the
considered missing?
How long ago did we do Wyatt's case?
Well, we brought him up. We've done him, covered him on one case, and then we covered him again recently at the request. I can't remember if it was his brother or who it was. I think it might have been his brother. Asked us to cover it again, so we did. So I don't know if he's. Let me look on KBI and
I got him.
Let me see if he's
Wichita.
Yeah,
this guy is supposedly up in your city. Find him.
Yeah.
I'll leave that comment up there for a little bit so people can see why it's in Wichita.
He's still listed as missing on KBI, so apparently he might be back in Wichita, but it doesn't look like he's been found yet. Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
So hopefully, Michelle, they can get him tracked down since he's back in Wichita. So Wyatt, man, stop running. It's time to let people know where you are so they can get, they can get you and help you get back to a safe place.
Yeah, it's well. At least at least she's getting word that he's breathing. That's got. She said she's doing good with that.
Yeah,
that's got to be a victory for today.
Yeah, that's good, Michelle. Thank you for the update on that. Keep us posted.
She says not been found yet.
Okay. I wondered because, like I said, he's still listed on KBI, and usually that means they haven't been found yet.
Yeah. Well, hopefully soon. Now that they got a sort of general idea of what city he's in, maybe they can get closer to that.
Yeah, it's been a little over 2 months since he's been missing. So, man.
Well, Ricky, we did an hour-long show, and
sweet. And we're going to forego the located safe reel this week, so we can add to it and make it longer for next show. So.
Yeah, because we did a show Thursday, and it's only been a couple days since our last reel, and we only have and it's only, I think we have 5 located safes, and we'd like to show you more than that. But everybody that was located safe this week will be shown on next week's slide.
Right. So they are still being found. Don't think they're not, because they are. And I'm glad they're being found safe. And just.
She says, as long as I know he's still alive, it helps.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Yeah. I mean, it's scary times. You never know what you could run into out there. You just never know.
Yeah.
Just random crazy stuff happens every day.
Yeah. Well, Ricky, you know what to tell them.
Yeah, just want to thank everybody again for sticking with us and joining us tonight. It's greatly appreciated. Believe me, it's greatly appreciated. If you want to help support what we're doing here, you can go to the patreon.com/KMUpod, and there's 3 different tiers there that you can choose how you want to help. But, whatever if you want to, that's fine. If not, I understand. But again, thank you everybody for joining us, and I just want to say take care, stay safe, and God bless, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Laters.
Well, I don't think it, I thought it, that's different. I said what I said and I meant it, or lamented. Words given weight without thought, and a person the way that I talk and the way that I ought to be able to pause and to say that the fault can be placed on my arms. And this playful assault to disgrace in this arm. Pray for the day they could wait for the calm. You can't control the storm, only weather it, whether it's 5 weeks and 5 days of rain sideways, or scorched earth, search for death or water left with all the thorns.